cosplay time! Yay! Based on the 1998 movie, the animated Godzilla series premiered September 12th that same year and lasted 2 seasons with a total of 40 episodes made. The toy company Trendmasters began to make toys for the show, but they ultimately would not go to market because Walmart didn't want them, and Walmart dictates everything. Seriously, there could be a cure for cancer, but if Walmart didn't want to sell it, nobody would get it. Anyway, I did a whole video about this, which guest starred some up-and-coming YouTuber Matt McMurphy or something or other. So if you want the whole story on this canceled toy line, check that video out. Back then, I also shared some of my authentic prototypes of figures that were in this toy line, and since then, there's been a few updates to share and a major new addition to my collection. Today, I'll catch you up, and we'll also get a closer and better look at some of the figures that I feel like I might have rushed through last time, and I'm going to be a bit more critical this time as well, and I'll try not to repeat any jokes.
Hey, Daddy.
Andy, what's up?
I saw that rabbit again. He's a fast one.
You're not going to catch that rabbit, Poodle.
He sits in our yard every single day. He taunts me, man.
He's just a little bunny rabbit.
He's a domestic terrorist, and I'm tired of pretending he ain't. Today's video is sponsored by Buy-E.jp. Did you make it to a convention like G-Fest this year? Well, now you can bring the convention home to you. If you sign up for Buy-E.jp, you can shop auction sites and stores from Japan, from the comfort of your own home. You don't even have to put clothes on. The best part of going to a convention is visiting all the vendor booths and buying those hard-to-find things from Japan. Well, with Buy-E, you can find them easy. Buy or bid directly, and get yourself that soft vinyl toy, that cool manga, that... what the hell is this? With Buy-E, every day is B-Fest. See what I did there? You could save money using a Buy-E coupon, and if you sign up with the link in the description, you instantly get 2,000 yen of free shopping money. Free money to buy stuff? Sign me up! But first, I'm gonna catch that bunny rabbit. Come here!
Enjoy this video sponsored by Buy-E.jp. The unreleased toys for Godzilla the series. Here I've got unpainted test print prototypes of almost all of the smaller pieces. These are made with plastic, and they include humans, monsters, and robots. Here's 6-inch Thunder Sonic Godzilla, and this one's got some crib notes on him, which I think is really cool. I love this sculpt, although his default position is this weird pose like he's doing the walk like an Egyptian dance from the 80s Bangles music video. His arms and legs move. My guy's tail can't twist, but it's possible the finished version would. And he's got a number of cool features. He's got a dorsal plate here, which you can move to make his mouth open and close. Actually, this would have launched a missile from his mouth, similar to the Nuclear Strike Godzilla movie toy. Oh, did you think we were going to talk about Trendmasters toys and not have launching missiles all over this video? Ha! You must be new to the channel. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This prototype also has a spot for a sound box here where you'd hear its thunderous roars, even though you're not going to see that on the prototype shown in the magazine pictures. I didn't mention this in the last video, but there's also prototypes of this Godzilla at a 4-inch scale, without sound. These here are showroom sample repaints and resin hard copy prototypes, so they don't articulate, but they show how it's possible that 4-inch figures were on the table, should this line have taken off. Moving on to the monsters. The first monster Godzilla fought in the series was Crustaceous Rex, also known as the C-Rex, and he first appeared in episode 2 titled New Family Part 2. Here's an idea of what a painted C-Rex could look like. I still can't get over how this spread spelled it S-E-A. And here's the proto. It's a cool figure, great silhouette. He's got lots of tendrils sticking out, and his feature would be this switch up here, which opens and closes his face. Legs can 360, and the larger appendages can twist as well. Here he is next to Godzilla. You could have had some serious monster brawling during your playtimes. And you know what? You could have crossed over these monsters with the Godzilla toys from Trendmasters' other toy lines. You could have had C-Rex fight Gigan. Robo Yeti is in the 15th episode of the show titled Competition. The Robo Yeti figure would be its inner mechanic body with an outer shell you could put over it. I don't have those outer shell pieces, but here's a naked Yeti prototype. He's angry because he had to sit through brief ads and sponsor pitches on his free YouTube. His arms go in all sorts of directions, which is cool. His itty-bitty legs can 360 as well. And his head can turn. He's supposed to come with these harpoons. I have one here, and would you believe it's not something that launches like a missile? Instead, it pinches, like my Aunt Milda. This is your Robo Yeti, and so far so good. No complaints, yet. I just really like what they were doing with the monsters from this TV series. And it's really fun to imagine what other monsters they could have made down the road. This is a prototype of Quetzalcoatl. Maybe I said that right enough. It's another word they spelled wrong here. This bird monster appeared in the 10th episode, Birds of Paradise. I don't have this prototype, and they are extremely stupid rare. And this is the original tooling pattern design, and it's actually a different pose than the resin one here in the Tom Art spread. Which one do you like more? And what's that in his mouth? Is that It's a missile! He looks like he's choking on that thing, poor guy. There were to be 2 human members of the Heat team, Nick and Randy. It's a whole new Nick mold than the one used for the movie toy line, and here's another comparison shot. Seriously, this is Extreme Nick. As you can see, he traded his worms for a quad-firing missile blaster. I'm not a fan of the bent knees on the human figures. They are incredibly hard to stand. Not impossible, but harder than they should be. Especially while holding these comically large weapons. By the way, Nick was also to come with this. What is this? The catalog calls it an Uzi machine gun. I've seen Uzi machine guns. That ain't an Uzi machine gun. I'm not big on Nick's overall character design in the show itself, but this toy's got a permanent angry face. Why does he look so triggered? Is it because I made a joke about sitting through ads and sponsor pitches on the free YouTube? Randy balances slightly better because of his coat. Here's a painted Randy. Now this Randy prototype actually has Nick's legs, and apparently that's very common. His gun is called a Cyber Tracker rocket launcher, and he's only got 1 projectile to Nick's 4. Yes, Nick is 4 times the Trendmasters figure as Randy. But Nick and Randy have arms that 360, you can spin their heads, their top halves can twist at the waist, and there's articulation in the legs and knees. Do you even need Godzilla to help when you have these 2? So yeah, the humans aren't my favorites in this toy line, although Randy's head sculpt is really good, I'll give them that. I just think this overall presentation is a bit off the mark, and the balance is a nightmare. The last member of the Heat team is Nigel. Even Nigel gets a missile. Classic Trendmasters. Here's what a colored-in Nigel could look like. And I love this. I'm not being ironic when I say this might be my favorite toy in the line. And Tom Arts also showed a silver variant of Nigel. What a strange release that would have been. He's got a little clip on his back, like Yeti's harpoon, if you want to clip him to your belt, I don't know. He's got a robotic claw and a spring arm, the firing rocket launcher, and he falls apart. Nigel's arms pop out whenever I touch him. I guess that's the joke, huh? Since he keeps getting destroyed in the show. So Trendmasters made a toy that breaks itself. 2 vehicles were going to come out for the Heat team, and they're just repaints of the helicopter and jet from other toy lines. Classic Trendmasters! There's no way on earth these human toys would have fit into that cockpit. I hate that they were going to force these vehicles on kids instead of the ones actually used in the show. I would have rathered no vehicles, to be honest. Alright, enough of these piddly little toys. It's time for the main event. 2 large plastic figures from this line called Mega Monsters with Sound. This includes Cyber Godzilla, which I've briefly showed you in the past, and a large Godzilla, which I just acquired.
Godzilla storms with a thundering smash and tail slash. But can it match Cyber Godzilla, shocking the Heat team with cyber missile fire? Breathing doom, Godzilla's out to short-circuit the cyber monster menace. In the fight for ultimate Godzilla might, who will rule? Only you can decide. Godzilla, Cyber Godzilla, and human action figures, each sold separately.
Cyber Godzilla is from episode 12 and 13, Monster Wars Part 2 and 3. This is the Godzilla from the movie turned into a cyborg by aliens. Just a note that when Godzilla died in the movie and show, he was intact. meaning the aliens cut off his arm to make him a cyborg. They didn't have to do that. Cyber Godzilla is in a deep lunging pose. Mine has a balance issue, but I know multiple other collectors who do not have this issue. Me, I can't even come close to balancing mine. His tail swivels. Robot arm can 360 and go up and down. This arm articulates. Legs move. Just a tiny bit of movement in the ankles. A little bit more in this ankle than the other one. I don't mean to blow your minds, but this guy was to fire 2 missiles. My prototype didn't come with any, but Lord knows I've got Trendmasters missiles. Thing is, none of these are the ones meant for Cyber Godzilla. Why were all of the damn missiles proprietary? Well, here he is with the wrong missiles, just to give you an idea. His other feature is sound. Pushing this button under his belly makes him roar. Now, this particular proto does not have a sound box installed, so no roar. Here's what Cyber Godzilla would have looked like in his box. You could have walked into the toy section and seen stacks of these. Imagine that! Now, I like this mold a lot. I love the head, and this is seriously one of my favorite items in my entire collection. A lot of screws visible on this side. A whole lot of screws, but that's not my biggest issue. I'm not in love with this stance, and I wouldn't be even if mine did balance. It looks great on a shelf, very dynamic and cool, but it's so limiting if you're a kid trying to play with it. I wouldn't have minded a more universal pose like Trendmasters' other Godzilla toys, but that's just me. And this is his rival, the Mega Monster Godzilla, new to the collection. Honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of these promotional images that went around of him, but then I got the prototype recently, and it looks a lot better in person to me. However, this one does not stand at all, and this time it's not just me. No version of this guy can balance on his 2 feet with his tail comfortably up in the air like the good Lord intended. Hopefully that would have been corrected before this went to market. Here he is next to the Thunder Sonic Godzilla figure. And just for funsies, here he is next to the recent release from YMSF, a soft vinyl Zilla repainted to look like the animated series Godzilla. They did a few versions of this, and this is the one I nabbed. Not an exact color match, but I still love this soft vinyl to pieces. Similar articulation as before, tail spins, the ankles have some movement, legs can move. This arm moves. This arm cannot move, and I'll tell you why. This figure is supposed to have a slashing claw attack as seen in the commercial here, and it appears that mine's not installed. At least he doesn't fire a missile. Oh wait, yeah, by pressing this dorsal plate here, his mouth opens. Again, very similar to that smaller nuclear strike Godzilla. And I know just where to touch you, and I know just what to prove, and I know when to pull you closer, and I know just when to lose. And see here, this is where the missile would go. And not atomic breath. Look at the commercial. That homeboy is firing a red missile out of his mouth. Shove it down your throat. Try this one. Maybe this one works. He's also got a belly button. Not a belly button, but a belly button. Well, anyway, this guy's voice box is installed. Give a listen. And I'm told Cyber Godzilla has this same roar. It's hard to see, but here's Godzilla in his packaging. And here they are together, father and son facing off. No doubt, some of the absolute rarest pieces in my entire collection. You have to wonder who would have made it to a second wave of these toys. Would there be a large roaring Yeti like these? A large C-Rex? Who would you have wanted them to make? I'd hope a second wave would have included the Heat Ship proper, and Monique would be a good figure. Both of those were at least considered for the first wave, this we know. When I started collecting Godzilla stuff, I never dreamed that these guys would one day be on my display. I'm thrilled that I got to share them with you today. I need to extend a special thanks to Jonathan Scheinman for letting me share some of his images and helping with the video. He runs the Trendmasters Prototype Toys Facebook group, so check it out for more images of these prototypes, including color variants like this purple Cyber Godzilla or burning Godzilla here. The group is about to celebrate its 8th anniversary with some exclusive new reveals, so check that out. And thank you for joining me on Playtime, where we celebrate imagination, play together, and maybe even learn something we didn't know. Until next time.